Most men are completely wrong about what makes women feel real attraction, and that misunderstanding is costing them respect, desire, and opportunities every single day. This might sting a little, but here's the uncomfortable truth. Women are not attracted to men because they are nice, hardworking, or endlessly available. In fact, many of the things men are taught to do to win women over actually kill attraction. This video isn't about tricks, pickup lines, or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding the psychology behind attraction, why certain men naturally pull women toward them without trying, while others do everything right and still get ignored. If you've ever wondered why a man with fewer resources, less effort, or even obvious flaws still commands attention, this conversation will make you uncomfortable, and then it will wake you up. Women don't feel strong attraction based on logic. They feel it based on emotional signals, confidence, certainty, self-respect, and how a man makes them feel about themselves. Most men are focused on impressing women, when the men women crave are focused on leading themselves. That difference is subtle, but it's powerful. This is where many men get defensive. They say, "That's not fair," or "Women should appreciate good men." But attraction doesn't care about fairness. It responds to strength, clarity, and emotional presence. When men ignore this reality, they end up frustrated, resentful, or invisible. This video is designed to teach you how attraction actually works, not how you wish it worked. Once you understand why women feel strong attraction to certain men, you'll stop chasing validation and start commanding attention naturally. And yes, some of what you'll hear will challenge everything you've been told. That's the point. If this makes you uncomfortable, you're exactly where you need to be. 1. Attraction is not fair. Most men grow up believing that attraction works like a reward system. Be good, be loyal, work hard, treat her well, and attraction will naturally follow. That belief sounds reasonable, but it's false. Attraction does not operate on fairness, morality, or effort. It operates on emotional impact. Once you understand this, a lot of confusing experiences with women suddenly make sense. Women don't feel strong attraction because a man deserves it. They feel it because something about him triggers emotion: excitement, safety, curiosity, or respect. This is why a man can do everything right and still be overlooked, while another man who breaks the rules gets attention. It's not because women are cruel, it's because attraction is instinctive, not logical. This is where many men get stuck. They take rejection personally and think it means they're not good enough. In reality, it often means they're playing by rules that don't exist. Attraction doesn't respond to sacrifice. It responds to presence. A man who is calm, grounded, and self-directed feels different to be around than a man who is constantly trying to prove his value. Fairness belongs in relationships, not attraction. Respect, loyalty, and effort matter after attraction is established. But before that, attraction is raw and honest. It reacts to how a man carries himself, how he handles pressure, and whether he seems comfortable with or without approval. Men who understand this stop trying to earn attraction. They stop over-explaining, over-giving, and over-chasing. Instead, they focus on building a solid sense of self. Ironically, this makes women more curious and engaged because attraction grows where there is certainty, not pleading. Imagine two men interested in the same woman. One constantly checks in, agrees with everything she says, and tries to prove he's better. The other is respectful but relaxed, speaks his mind, and isn't afraid to walk away if he's not valued. Even if the first man is kinder on paper, the second man often creates stronger attraction. Not because he's unfair, but because he feels secure in himself. This is the uncomfortable truth most men need to hear. Attraction doesn't reward effort. It responds to strength, clarity, and emotional stability. Once you accept that, you stop feeling bitter, and you start becoming magnetic. 2. Confidence beats kindness. This is one of the hardest truths for men to accept because it sounds cruel at first. But it's not saying kindness is bad, it's saying kindness alone does not create attraction. Many men confuse being kind with being attractive, and that confusion keeps them stuck. Kindness is passive, confidence is active. A man can be polite, generous, and caring, yet still feel invisible to women because he doesn't project certainty. Confidence tells a woman, "I trust myself." Kindness without confidence often says, "I hope you choose me." That difference is subtle, but women feel it immediately. Women don't feel strong attraction to men who seek approval. They feel it toward men who are comfortable standing alone. Confidence shows up in how a man speaks, how he moves, and how he handles disagreement. He doesn't rush to explain himself. He doesn't collapse when challenged. He doesn't need constant reassurance. That emotional steadiness is attractive because it feels safe and grounding. Many men try to be extra nice to avoid rejection. Ironically, this creates the very outcome they fear. When a man hides his opinions, avoids tension, and prioritizes being liked over being respected, attraction fades. Respect is the foundation attraction sits on. Without it, kindness feels empty. This doesn't mean being arrogant or disrespectful. Real confidence is calm, not loud. It's the ability to be warm without being weak. A confident man can be kind because he chooses to be, not because he's trying to earn something. That choice is what gives his kindness weight. Men who understand this stop performing goodness. They start expressing themselves honestly. They allow disagreement, they accept that not everyone will like them, and that acceptance alone increases their presence. A woman shares an opinion a man disagrees with. The kind man immediately agrees to keep the peace even though he feels uncomfortable. The confident man listens, then calmly shares his own view without attacking or apologizing. Even if she disagrees, she feels his certainty. That certainty often creates more attraction than empty agreement. Confidence doesn't replace kindness. It gives kindness a backbone, and women feel that difference instantly. 3. Neediness kills desire. This is the part many men feel in their gut but don't want to admit. You can sense when you're being needy, when you're overthinking replies, rereading messages, or feeling anxious about how you're coming across. Women feel that energy too, even when nothing is said out loud. And once neediness shows up, desire quietly starts to disappear. Neediness is not about wanting someone. Wanting is normal. Neediness is about attaching your self-worth to how a woman responds to you. It shows up when your mood depends on her attention, when silence feels like rejection, and when you start changing yourself just to keep her interested. That emotional pressure is heavy, and attraction doesn't grow under pressure. Many men become needy because they don't have enough going on emotionally outside of dating. When a woman becomes the center of your validation, every interaction starts to feel high stakes. You begin to overinvest too early. You explain too much. You chase clarity instead of allowing space. None of this feels masculine or secure. It feels tense. Women are drawn to men who want them, not men who need them. There's a big difference. Wanting says, I choose you. Needing says, I can't feel okay without you. The first feels flattering. The second feels draining. Even a woman who likes you will slowly pull back if she feels responsible for your emotional stability. Most men have been there. You start off relaxed, being yourself, then you like her more. Suddenly you're checking your phone more often. You start giving more than you receive. You sense her energy shift and try to fix it by doing even more. That spiral is familiar, and it's exactly what kills attraction. The truth is, desire needs space to breathe. When a man has his own life, goals, friendships, and sense of direction, his interest feels optional, not desperate. That optional energy is attractive because it signals abundance and self-respect. Men who overcome neediness don't become cold. They become grounded. They learn to self-soothe instead of seeking constant reassurance. They stop chasing emotional certainty and start trusting themselves. And when that happens, attraction stops feeling forced. It starts flowing naturally. If you've ever felt yourself losing someone the more you tried to hold on, this is why. Many men become needy because they don't have enough going on emotionally outside of dating. When a woman becomes the center of your validation, every interaction starts to feel high stakes. You begin to overinvest too early, you explain too much, you chase clarity instead of allowing space. None of this feels masculine or secure, it feels tense. Women are drawn to men who want them, not men who need them. There's a big difference. Wanting says, I choose you. Needing says, I can't feel okay without you. The first feels flattering. The second feels draining. Even a woman who likes you will slowly pull back if she feels responsible for your emotional stability. Most men have been there. You start off relaxed, being yourself. Then you like her more. Suddenly you're checking your phone more often. You start giving more than you receive. You sense her energy shift and try to fix it by doing even more. That spiral is familiar, and it's exactly what kills attraction. 4. Emotional control is power. This is where a lot of men need a wake-up call. Many men say they want respect and attraction, yet they let their emotions run their behavior. They react too quickly, they get defensive, they let ego, jealousy, or insecurity decide their next move, and then they wonder why attraction fades. Emotional control isn't about being cold, it's about being unshakable. Too many men confuse emotional expression with emotional strength. Being honest about feelings is healthy, but dumping unprocessed emotions onto a woman is not leadership. It's emotional dependence. When a man can't regulate his reactions, he forces the woman to become the stable one. Attraction flips when that happens. Women are naturally observant of how a man handles pressure. They notice how he responds to disagreement, teasing, stress, or silence. A man who stays calm sends a powerful message: I can handle life. A man who overreacts, sulks, or explodes sends the opposite message: attraction doesn't survive chaos. Here's the hard truth men need to hear. If small things throw you off emotionally, you are not ready to lead anything. Not a relationship, not yourself. Complaining, emotional outbursts, and constant venting don't make you relatable. They make you unpredictable, and unpredictability kills desire. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions, it means mastering them. Emotional control is choosing when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to walk away. It's not letting pride push you into arguments that don't matter. It's not begging for reassurance when your ego gets bruised. That level of discipline is rare, and that's why it's attractive. Men who develop emotional control stop chasing reactions. They stop trying to win every moment. They realize that power isn't loud, it's steady. When you don't react impulsively, people lean in. Women feel safer, more curious, more open. So here's the advice: wake up. If your emotions control you, you are easy to manipulate and easy to forget. Build the habit of pausing before reacting. Learn to sit with discomfort without collapsing. The man who controls his emotions controls the frame, and that man naturally commands attraction. 5. Women test strength. This is another reality many men don't want to face, but almost every man has experienced it. Women test men, not because they want to hurt them, but because they need to understand who they're dealing with. These tests are rarely obvious. They come in small moments, subtle comments, changes in tone, or slight challenges. And how a man responds tells her everything. Many men fail these tests without realizing one is happening. They get defensive. They over-explain. They try to prove themselves. Or worse, they change their behavior to avoid discomfort. When that happens, attraction drops. Not because the man is bad, but because he shows that pressure controls him. Here's the criticism men need to hear. If you crumble the moment things aren't smooth, you're signaling weakness. Life is not smooth. Relationships are not smooth. If a woman senses that you need constant peace to stay stable, she will instinctively lose attraction. Strength isn't about dominance, it's about composure. Tests are often unconscious. A woman might disagree with you, tease you, delay a reply, or question your decision. She's watching to see if you stay centered or if your ego panics. A man who stays calm, holds his position without aggression, and doesn't seek approval passes the test without even trying. Too many men take these moments personally. They think, she's being difficult, or she's disrespecting me. Instead of seeing it as feedback, they react emotionally. That reaction tells her he lacks inner stability. Attraction doesn't survive that. Men who understand this stop fearing tests. They welcome them. They see them as opportunities to demonstrate self-respect. They don't chase clarity. They don't argue to be right. They don't withdraw out of spite. They respond with calm confidence or choose not to engage at all. Here's the advice: wake up and stop trying to be flawless. You don't need to win every moment. You need to stay grounded. When you can remain steady under pressure, women feel it. And when they feel strength without force, attraction grows naturally. 6. Purpose comes first. This is where many men quietly lose attraction without realizing it. You don't notice it in one moment. You feel it over time. Conversations start to feel flat. Her interest feels inconsistent. And deep down, you sense that you're no longer being seen as compelling. Often the issue isn't what you said or did. It's that your life doesn't have a clear direction. Men are most attractive when they are moving towards something that matters to them. Purpose gives a man weight. It shapes how he speaks, how he spends his time, and how he handles setbacks. Without it, a man drifts, and drifting is not attractive. When your energy is scattered, people feel it. Many men make the mistake of putting women at the center of their lives too early. They rearrange their schedules, delay their goals, and start living reactively. At first, it feels like commitment, but over time, it looks like a lack of self-leadership. Women don't want to be a man's purpose. They want to be part of a life that's already moving. You can probably relate to this. When you're focused, busy with meaningful work, or chasing a goal, you feel more confident without trying. You're less reactive. You don't overthink interactions. You don't need constant reassurance. That inner direction creates calm, and calm is attractive. When men lose purpose, they often become restless or bored. They start seeking stimulation through attention, validation, or drama. This is when neediness creeps back in. Purpose acts as an anchor. It keeps your emotions stable and your decisions grounded. Women sense when a man's life revolves around them instead of something bigger. It creates pressure. It makes attraction feel heavy. But when a man has something he's building, learning, or mastering, his presence feels lighter and more exciting. He doesn't chase. He invites. This isn't about status or money. It's about intention. A man with purpose knows where his energy goes and why. He doesn't need to explain himself constantly. He doesn't feel lost when things slow down. If you've ever noticed that attraction increases when you're least focused on dating, this is why. Purpose comes first. Everything else follows. 7. Mystery creates pull. This is where many men overshare themselves out of attraction. They think being fully open, immediately available, and completely transparent will create closeness. Instead, it often removes tension too fast. Attraction needs space. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about not giving everything away before it's earned. Men often reveal too much too soon because they want to feel understood. They explain their intentions, their past, their feelings, and their plans in detail. What they don't realize is that attraction grows through discovery, not information. When everything is laid out, there's nothing left to lean into. You've probably felt this before. When someone is slightly unpredictable but consistent in character, they hold your attention. When everything about someone is immediately available, interest fades faster. Women experience this same dynamic with men. Curiosity keeps attraction alive. Mystery is also about emotional pacing. A man who doesn't rush intimacy, reassurance, or labels feels confident in himself. He doesn't need to lock things down quickly to feel secure. That patience signals strength and self-trust. Many men think mystery means being distant or cold. It doesn't. It means being present without being consumed. It means speaking when you have something meaningful to say, not filling silence out of nervousness. It means letting actions speak louder than constant explanation. When a man is comfortable with silence, women feel it. When he doesn't chase every emotional spike, he creates stability. That combination, calm plus curiosity, is powerful. Men who lack mystery often overtext, overshare, and overcommit too early. Not because they're bad, but because they're anxious. Anxiety is loud, confidence is quiet. Mystery lives in that quiet space. If you've ever noticed that attraction grows when you slow down instead of speeding up, this is why. Mystery creates pull because it allows desire to unfold naturally. When you stop trying to be fully known right away, you become deeply interesting over time. Conclusion. Women don't lose attraction because men aren't good enough. They lose attraction because men abandon themselves trying to be chosen. That's the real controversy. Not female nature, not dating culture, not bad luck. It's men giving up their spine, their direction, and their emotional control in exchange for approval. And then blaming women when attraction disappears. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Attraction is not a reward for being decent. It's a response to how you show up in the world. The moment you start performing, proving, chasing, or shrinking yourself to keep a woman, you've already lost the frame. Desire cannot survive where self-respect is negotiable. Most men are not rejected. They are over-available. They are not unlucky. They are uncentered. And until men take responsibility for their emotional discipline, purpose, and boundaries, they will keep repeating the same patterns with different women and calling it bad experiences. This isn't an attack on women. It's a challenge to men. Wake up. Stop outsourcing your confidence. Stop expecting attraction to be fair. Stop asking to be chosen and start choosing who you are every single day. If this hit a nerve, that's intentional. Growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from clarity. Now I want to hear from you. Comment your experiences below. The moments you felt attraction rise or disappear, the mistakes you've made, the patterns you're starting to notice. I read them and I reach out. This isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. And in the next video, we're going to talk about the one behavior that instantly exposes insecurity, even in men who think they're confident. Most guys don't see it until it's too late.